my character needs the ability to do some crocheting. So I'm going to pick up the profession crochet. Bam.
Why not?
We can make that happen. Yup. So when we hit combat, if combat happens in today's game session, I'll worry about the rules and educate us as we go forward. So I think that pretty much covers the changes. For now, it's going to be very fluid. Super fluid. That's right. Like a supercritical fluid.
Gross. I didn't think of like fluid. I thought like fluid.
What?
like I didn't think of like a nice like a flow. I didn't think of like a nice flow. I thought of like fluids, like you would like excrete fluids. I
think I'm a whole person now.
I'm sorry, I've been playing Bloodborne too much or something.
Oh my.
So, any questions, guys?
I have billions of questions, but
Excellent.
I mean, I'd rather just get into a run.
Excellent.
Don't worry, today's going to be a milk run.
I do want to ask though, where? Oh, never mind. Found him. Never
Excellent.
mind.
Great.
All right. Well, definitely.
We're there.
Yep. Well, I'm gonna do the stinger, and then we're gonna do a game recap.
Ooh, excellent. I love the stinger.
All right. We'll be right back.
We're back.
Welcome to the Shattered Isles. I'm Cassie.
I'm Max.
And we are the co-GMs of this exciting adventure. Our players, feel free to introduce yourselves at the same time if you want. So,
I'm Jon, and I play Kodrog Stormhessen. Epic dwarf sailor.
Are we using our full names? Okay. Hi, I'm Paige, and I play Thomas Elaine Barron, who is a wizard.
excellent.
Awesome. Welcome to our show, everyone. And so let's get into the meat of it and do a recap of the last...
Yeah. Last we left off, our crew of the Ember Falls was making their way towards Spindlehaven. I believe they packed up all of their stuff, got everything ready to go for the ship, got it provisioned, and then headed straight out.
But not without protest, because they had just got home, and there was no shore leave.
None.
The boat did not even come into port. It just stayed in the bay, and there was some rather upset people, but they were their disgruntled feelings were put at bay when it was like, look, we're doing this to go get paid. You guys like money, right? You're not doing this because you love the princess.
Yes, their protests were assuaged. Is that
Assuaged is a good word, yeah.
With the promise of extra spending money once they arrive at Spindlehaven.
And Spindlehaven is the place where you go where you can buy anything, and if they don't have it, they know someone who can get it for you.
Oh my god, I just got that Bedknobs and Broomsticks song stuck in my head.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Portobello Road.
Yeah.
Pages are so Anything
Anything
and
and everything,
a shop can unload
unload.
is sold by the Barrow in Portobello Road. Oh man, that's gonna be all the time. You're welcome, guys. It's gonna get stuck in your head too.
You just have to rewrite it into wait, where are we going? What's the name?
Spindlehaven.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just need to rewrite Spindlehaven into that song, and then we can have a musical. A musical episode.
That would be
Challenge
great.
accepted.
So it's just not going away.
No, I'm so sorry. So I will. So after so they got everything packed up, headed out like she said,
Yeah.
and they left the aisle and the direction towards Spindlehaven. But they didn't make it there without incident. And by incident, I mean nothing bad happened to the Amber Falls
No.
itself. They came across another ship by the name of Nulligan's Haunt.
Nulligan's Haunt. A barge, a very large barge. Yeah, that was on fire. Apparently, they were hit by a dwarvinium comet, also known as star metal. And it was burning through their ship and catching fire to all of its cargo. And you all and Larry stood up and became the heroes of the day. And Larry takes all the credit for it.
That's
You
correct.
know, I'm gonna say it right now. I'm gonna predict. Knock on wood, this doesn't happen. I'm gonna predict that Kodrog and Thomas are gonna die spectacularly, and Larry is gonna be the one that be like, "Oh yes, I was there. I did it. Like I was the hero of this story. I just see it happening."
I tried to save them. Alas, I was not able to. Darn. I get their pay, right?
Hey!
Hi, thank you.
Thank you for subscribing, Oz.
Yay, we appreciate it. Yeah. So, you all were able to prevent further damage on the Nulligan's Haunt. Captain Sharganathan Blitheswell. Captain Shar was very grateful for all of your assistance and said that they don't need that tiny little rock because it was about the size of their fist.
There was some negotiate.
There was
Let's
a
be
little
honest.
bit.
She
There
was
was.
not
Yeah.
really willing to let it go so easily, but Thomas pointed out, listen, lady, you've got insurance on this that's going to cover these damages. Besides, we helped out and didn't have to.
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
she was
Thomas's attitude showed
It did
very much last session. I should have made him snap his fingers or something.
Oh my
like
gosh.
his attitude showed.
I'm pretty sure he did. I remember seeing
Oh yeah,
it.
definitely. I would imagine him doing it. Like,
it-
look, lady.
Yeah, and if he didn't, Larry would have.
Larry's in the background.
Yeah. as we walk away with our comment.
Well,
Yep. And after helping out the haunt, you guys continued on, and we will be picking up today's game session as we approach Spindlehaven.
yes.
So
Speaking of, as we approach Spindlehaven,
it's
we have some of the audience suggestions that we held on to for last episode that will be hopefully used in this one, but we also need more. So I'm going to go ahead and just list them out here, but I'm also going to write them in the chat so you all know what we need. So we need 2 dwarf names.
Ooh.
So
Oh, we need the name of a wholesaler company
Yes.
who buys large amounts of material and stuff like that.
yep, and this wholesaler works on Spindlehaven exclusively, ferrying various forms of large bulk cargo.
Yes, so a name for that would be pretty good. We need to talk about Spindlehaven real quick, and we also need to talk about the Void real quick, because we might have some new members watching in today.
Yes.
So the Shattered Isles is a kind of like a words just slipped my mind. Hang on.
Do you need help?
It's a sword.
I mean, it's not my
Yes, I
land,
got it.
but
A sword and sail it is the concept of a sword and sail campaign setting in which the isles that separate aren't separated just merely by oceans, but also large expanses of space called the void. Similar to our outer space, but they don't call it outer space because that's silliness. It's filled with breathable air that sometimes can be hot, sometimes it can be cold, and sometimes can be gaseous and you just die. Filled with monsters. There are 3 types of land in the void that people talk about. There is isles in which they have gravity, they have atmosphere, and people live on them. There are holds, which some of them have gravity, but no atmosphere, and people live on them. And then there are barren rocks, which generally have no gravity, no atmosphere. People still live on them. Sometimes they're called holds. It's a confusing world. And so their travel from Kadaf, or the Isle of Narak, right? I did miss that one. They left the Isle of Narak, went through, and if you go back and watch the last episode at the very end, they go through the Edge, which is this magical field that surrounds the isle that keeps water and atmosphere in. And this massive vessel called the Amber Falls then dragged along like a giant parachute through the void using special sails called tiller sails, and controlling the girth and how much wind they catch in the void allows them to navigate through these trade winds to the different locations that they know of and where they're at. And of course, some locations don't move, they're fixed, which is great. And then there's others, like the Dwarven homes, that move. Spindlehaven is a hold that used to be a large mining facility that got taken over by some rather rough individuals at least a decade or 2 ago. When did the pirates move in? I think we had that discussion. But the pirates moved in and took over and turned it into a rather civilized place, as far as a civilized can go, and turned it into a massive merchanting operation. Because it sits at the intersection of several trade winds, lots of people go there, including people who don't always agree. Warring factions will go there to hire mercenary armies. Religious zealots will go there and have their secret wars. People who are on the run will go there and continue to be able to stay on the run. But you can also buy anything there. Spindlehaven sits outside of most bodies of governance, and anyone who claims that they govern Spindlehaven have usually a high stake at collecting taxes from them. It's not easy. I don't think it's been done lately. So, Spindlehaven is a hold that has a lot of grindstones to it, and a lot of people live there. It is one of the largest holds in the area. It has a large population of humans, Tekiao, Kashins, dwarves. There are Uterans that live there in large numbers, as it suits well for their lifestyle. The lower half of Spindlehaven is a massive docking facility. And when we get there, you'll get a chance to see the description. We'll go through the description of it. And, man, I'm trying to think if there's any other thing that needs to be important before we actually get into the description of Spindlehaven. Oh, it's segregated. The lower half is a very powerful mercantile base. The middle part of this massive hold is pretty much like a free city where laws are very sketchy and generally follow whoever has the largest amount of money. Life can quickly come to the end of a blade or the end of a spell if you're not careful. And the highest point, as referenced, is a city that is separated and governed by the ruling families, the nobility of Spindlehaven, if you'd want to call them that, who can trace their lineage back to an entire pirate ship.
Yes. A pirate ship which you may have heard before in lore and stories. The lost treasure of Baron Swan.
Ooh.
It's rumored that all of the Kappas are originate from either the ship or the descendants of the pirates on that ship.
I do think that they may take offense to being called pirates. I think that they prefer aggressive entrepreneur.
Privateers. It's privateers.
Privateers is a good word.
Privateers is only used when they are being sanctioned by royalty.
I think for the most part they refer to themselves as nobility and royalty, titling themselves princes and princesses, dukes and duchesses. I don't think they have a king. I mean, if anything, they might elect someone to help run or manage something, but for the most part, they consider themselves wealthy merchants. They buy nobility as they feel. So you might run across one or two that have several titles in different lands, and they throw it around like it's some trinket they picked up. Oh, yes, I'm king of some land I bought. Who cares? I have the money to afford this.
Great. Thomas is gonna... I have a feeling Thomas isn't gonna like this place so much. Maybe he'll love it.
We'll
Who
have to
knows?
see. All right, looks like we're getting some information in. We're loving this. She is feverishly writing this stuff down.
The reason I said privateers is because one of my very first game that I actually had with people on Roll20 and everything like that, there was a swashbuckler who always went by, they're not pirates, they're privateers. And whenever you said pirates or when you called him a pirate, he'd get offended. So later down the road, whenever my character was angry at him, she'd call him a pirate.
Ooh.
So whenever somebody's like, "Oh no, we're not pirates," I go, "Ah, you're privateers." I get it.
Well, and if most of them fancy themselves royalty anyways, they probably would call like their subordinates privateers.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're sanctioned by royalty.
I think there was something around that character that was royalty and nobility, but it never came up at all. Like, it never, shined through that character at all. I don't know if it was, a missed opportunity for that player or, the GM was just all over the place, but it never shined through at all.
Aww.
Other than just him knowing nobility. Because of the times that, because my character was nobility as well. All my mages are nobility for some fucking reason. But whenever we rolled for nobility, he also had to roll. So, I don't know. And frankly, I don't care anymore. So.
I feel
I
that
had a bad time with that group.
I feel that if a player puts something and effort into their character's background, I want to try to at least accent on it, and you get you get a chance to feel what the player's doing. Like the player's like, I've got nobility, right? What does that mean? I don't know. And you're like, okay, that means nothing. Move on. They're like, I've got nobility, and you're like, what does that mean? They're like, oh man, I came from this noble house. I got these cool ideas. All right, great. I'm going to accent on it and kill all your family off.
Yeah. Yep. It's. I love it when GMs do that. That's kind of the reason why I make backgrounds for characters. Plus, I always make them just because I want them to have backgrounds. Because that's how my brain works. But yeah. I remember with that character, too. I made her background, and then her boyfriend's background, and then, her boyfriend's ex's background, and it just went into this huge rabbit hole. And I ended up, half of the characters that I ended up creating went into the campaign as full-fledged characters that we spoke to.
I'm getting really tired of fucking breaking.
And it was only because I think, the GM was like, well, you made half of the NPCs in this world for me, so here. Which I didn't mind, because when I saw my characters and the people that I created, I got really happy just seeing them be there, even if they weren't even if they weren't played to a T, is how I would play them or write them. I was happy that they were there.
Which is, yeah, exactly. And so that's why we ask our audience to give us some hand here, because
Yeah.
that way they are engaged with our story. They're providing us extra helpful pieces to work with.
For sure. And so, now that I finally got them all written out in the chat, you can review them, but I'm going to also just mention everything that we're hoping you all can help us create. So, we need dwarf names. 2 of them at the very least. If you have more, fantastic, because we need a lot of them, but we know we need at least 2. We've got a really cool name for a wholesaler. I definitely like the Order of the Ancient Chestnut Coffer. It sounds so professional.
It does sound very professional.
Let's see, we need the name of the wholesaler. It's a Takiao, so it's a lizard person of what they would call dragon heritage.
Yeah, they like to believe that the dragon heritage, it's a nice thing. It's like all those white people who go around going, I'm of Native American descent. And you're like, no.
you're not.
No, honey.
Yeah.
No.
But Takeo are really smart, and they're all about the business.
Yes.
So kind of like a draconic Ferengi.
Yep.
Just with some morals and nicety behind them.
Yeah, a little bit more. Or let's say a little bit different, because Ferengis did have morals, they just were not in line with what we would think of as moral, that's all.
That's right. That's very true. They had codes.
Questionable
numbers.
morals.
Questionable morals. We also have a perfumery and the Elim, which is a small being, the size of a phalang or dare I say gnome?
Don't say no.
But I can't. So
Gnome is a bad word.
they are. That has the ability to control one of the elements, and this one is able to control acid. And then we have another Takiao, which is one of the thief princes or princesses that is a direct descendant of the crew of Baron Swan.
Ooh.
And so we need that. Also, a human companion for them. And then, was there anything else? No. I think we've got
Did we
it.
get this guy?
Yes.
Okay, great. Then I think we're good to go, because we've got everything else going on here.
Excellent. So if you all want to so nothing like the Ferengi.
Well.
Oh, that's funny.
Their drive to get money will cause them to cross questionable lines, but they'll do so in a way in which they're not implicated in doing so. Ferengi didn't care if they got implicated. They're like, hey, this is the way it works.
We already have one. I don't want two.
There can be only one. Larry.
Yeah, I don't. That was a really good impression. Like, that threw me off of my complete sentence. Oh, man.
Sorry, I was channeling
Yeah,
a voice
you're
actor.
No, it was great. Oh, my God. No. No second Larrys. I'm sorry, radio. No.
Are you saying someone named Larry or someone who acts like Larry?
Both.
No, it's like literally Larry. He's moonlighting as the Takia's human companion.
Off-brand Larry.
An off-brand Larry? So they didn't buy the original Larry like...
Larry Light.
Larry Lay.
It's the free version.
Ooh. Yes, and an iron home. We need the name of an iron home. John, what is Kodrog's iron home's name as an example?
Kodrog's iron home is Ironwood House. But the Haus, because that's how you spell it in Dwarven.
Excellent.
Ironwood House.
House.
Hoss.
House.
Use.
Ironwood House.
Oh, man, if we were all
Ooh,
using accents for this
Steel
run.
That's a good one.
Ooh, that one is good.
That's it. I'm calling it
that, yeah.
right now.
Man, I'm glad my choice didn't get chosen.
Awesome. So I think we're getting a lot of really good information,
We are.
and I think we're ready to move forward and have them arriving at Spindlehaven. If you would
Okay.
like to start on that.
The trade winds blow The amber falls steadily along. Hours before Spindlehaven can be viewed by the naked eye of even the dwarves of the Takiao on the ship, and Takiao and dwarves generally have good vision. The Elam can see it well before the rest of you. Her tiny eyes are incredible. That's why she's the gunner. That's why she points and shoots the guns, because she can see really far. But before it's visible, the lookout with his spyglass begins calling out. The trade winds have become warm, and they have become occupied. You guys are now flying alongside other vessels that are either slower than the Amber Falls or close to the same size. And so traffic has occurred. It's a rare incident, and the captain is determined to find the best parking spot and the closest parking spot to Spindlehaven, while others moor out their ships several leagues away from Spindlehaven and take smaller crafts to get closer. Those who are willing to spend the silver to park up front in the handicaps parking spots. Sorry, I had to go there. Those who are willing to try to get a better parking spot must fight the traffic. And it is thick. So one would have gaffing poles, and the crew would be on full man as within 2 leagues of Spindlehaven for the purpose of pushing away other boats that get too close, or smaller boats that drift onto deck, because there is no up and down, and if someone veers hard to starboard and suddenly the Amber Falls is there, they don't have much room to turn. It's an important factor that, because of the way the physics work of the void, the larger the ship, the more sails it can have. The more sail space you can have, the faster you go. Small ships can have big sails, but they can't be guided so well. It's a ratio, and skilled craftsmen have a good understanding of how to build a ship that is viable. So a small ship can decide to hang a right, and suddenly a large ship just runs them over. That's where the crew of the Amber Falls becomes useful, to save other people's lives and to make sure that the Amber Falls doesn't get damaged in the trying to get to the better spot.
So it's like Black Friday.
Yeah.
But, floating.
Yeah. The 30-something crew member ship of the Amber Falls, with all 18, 20-something riggers with gaffing poles and lines attached to them. Most of the masts have been reduced down to just those that sit right above the deck or close to the ship. And the biggest part of your task is to be in the riggings and pushing things out of the way as they come towards you. The first thing that comes flying toward the ship is, crazy enough, a collection of barrels and decking that are all bundled together by line for some reason, and it's just a mass of material filled with grindstones. And so it's grindstones and barrels that have all just collected in this pile of, or clump of garbage, as the Amber Falls is coming toward that. You guys are like poke and push it away. Could you save and salvage it? Yes, but you're not trash collecting right now. You're not in the need for broken barrels and what looked like a wagon wheel and a bunch of rotten line. The second and third was a small vessel that was dead in line with the Amber Falls, but you guys were moving at a decent rate. So instead of trying to, you guys don't you veer, you turn the ship. The ship rolls to get out of the way. Just rolls just a general bit, and then a number of crew members get to that side of the ship with the gaffing poles and start poking the ship to get it out of the way. It's like, go that way. It's a strange and weird sport, and people are yelling at you, "Don't stab my boat!" But it's like, it's either stab your boat or splinters, man. Pick. As the ship draws even closer, Gaz advises the captain to pull in 2 of the sails as much as possible and lower the main mast onto the deck, actually disconnect it, and so that it will lay down, and so the ship has nothing sticking out, and so it just looks like a stick with spindly cobwebs wrapped around one end and a few foremasts dragging it along. And so that's what you guys spend time doing, is under the deck pulling the massive cogs and pins and cutting through tar that holds the main mast into location, untwining a bunch of stuff and taking this huge tree and laying it across the deck. The deck becomes like a spider web, a collection of tunnels you have to move through, as now everything is just
It's
a
almost
mess.
like a barge.
It's like a barge as you guys are ducking from place to place, slowly crawling, being navigated by the tiller sails. Jon, you have a chance to work with Anne with the tiller sails, and she would say, we're going starboard, all right, turn the tiller sails and just hold them, and you just wait as the ship just kind of like drifts and crawls through this space of wind. And in the meantime, the socks are flipping left and right, and so it's like, nope, good, take them the other way, all right, the other way, you know, because you're trying to figure out which end of the ship to move.
Yeah, when you're moving it, think about how you would move a cart when you're pushing it back from the other side.
Nice.
That's essentially how you're moving the Amber Falls.
So it's not quite as bad as one of those IKEA carts where all the wheels swivel.
No, that's
no,
a
it
great
is that
analogy.
bad. That's the better
okay.
one.
Oh
that's
god!
Yep.
Those are the worst.
Close the
Awesome.
foresails. Everybody, close the foresails. Bring them down. Okay, no, bring them back up. You know,
There's limitless drifting potential.
Mm-hmm.
and that's the other thing. The ship is so big that even the wind hitting the side of the ship suddenly changes it. And Anne throws her hands up and confuses, like, all right, just let's ride this one. Shut all the sails. We're just going sideways now. Within a league's distance, the sound of a roar can be heard echoing. It's the roar of people. It's the roar of other ships. It's the roar of tugs.
It's like really loud white noise.
You can hear.
Great.
So many
You can.
sounds mixing together.
The lookout has come down and moved to the front of the ship because this is where it's new. And he's like, I can already hear the music, and
And he dances.
he dances because he's like, oh yeah,
Of course.
yeah, this is fun time. He's all excited, and Larry's staring at him like, well, this guy is crazy.
It's easy to
When the tugs come out, all right, so alchemists at the Spindlehaven have worked with these groups of alchemists and engineers to design these rather dangerous little boats that revolve around a fire that shoots out one end of them. And they have huge, puffy chunks of soft rubber on the outside of these boats. And so they will, this small contingency, about 6 boats, begin approaching the Amber Falls. Jon, Kodrog is at the back of the boat, but Thomas might be at the front of the boat. Thomas, Paige, where would Thomas be in this whole collection
Mess?
of chaos?
Other than helping out with his magic, because I literally just imagined this chaos around him while he's in a lounge chair, just twirling his fingers, reading a book, helping them with magic, and he's just relaxing. But he would be helping as much as he can. He'd probably be with Maria and making sure that whatever she needs done, he gets it done.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Yeah, you and Maria have spent the last several days now ensuring that you have separated out the lapis baelina into essentially into
Quality.
piles, and the lowest quality is probably about like a third or so, maybe a little more of the total haul of your your whale stones. And those ones are the ones that are most likely going to be going to the wholesaler, because he buys in bulk. You can just get rid of it quick, and that's that. And then we could find a real buyer for the good stuff.
Mm-hmm. So you guys have probably been on deck helping with whatever odds and ends. Maria has definitely shown her true colors of her past as a rigger, as she has jumped in the lines and then the arms, and she has been rather agile. While you, of course, I can only imagine Thomas, like, climbing slowly up one of the masts, and she's dances quickly up it, showing her profession.
Thomas, join me over here. No, I'm good. I'll just stay right here.
Hold on. Should I make a composure roll to make sure that I can watch what I'm supposed to be doing and not watching Maria jungle gym through the ropes?
Not swoon.
Oh my
Just
gosh.
kidding.
I don't think you're in a relationship at that point like
No,
that. Now, if it
no,
was the
I'm-
captain and Thomas, then there might be some questions.
Uh-huh.
I'm just gonna go there.
Do I need to roll a composure check to not swoon when I see Jason?
No, you have to make a composure check, not swoon, when you see Jason doing something that would require it, like Jason suddenly ripping off his shirt.
That's an automatic fail. You
Oh
can't.
my god.
But it's not really going to happen.
You can't expect me to ace that roll. Are you kidding me? His shirt opens. Thomas is down.
Oh my god. You
Like-
almost made me drown in rum and coke.
I'm so sorry. Don't do that.
Oh my god. That was great.
It's worse than drowning in whale vomit. Or, sorry, better than drowning in whale vomit.
So
That's fair.
let's talk about these tugs real quick. They're basically someone took either a large chunk of rock or tree or debris, and they bound it together to create a shoe-like shape, and then they surround it with a bunch of rubber. And then the back of it, there's a huge metal canister. And what they do is they have these tiny little sails that move them around, so they drift out. But once they get into position, they can pour. Do you remember that shaky, bubbly, fizzy stuff that you open and it sprays and it moves
Champagne?
you around? No, yeah, champagne.
Diet Coke.
Diet
And
Coke
Mentos.
with Mentos. So it's like a Diet Coke Mentos combination, but they don't have it in a small scale like you guys have for the purpose of drifting around. They have it in the large size scale. So they pull up alongside these ships, and then the ship has to, hey, I got to turn all the way around. These little guys pop their strings, and the ships begin blasting out this gunk, and the whole ship begins moving in the right direction. They're generally pretty professional. But the ship, these small collection of ships approach. Arthur moves to the bow of the ship to meet them. The captain yells. Arthur makes a hand gesture back toward Anne, and Anne's like thumbing up, like, yes, I'm tired of this. And she's like, yes, get them to put us in place. I can't, there's too much crap. And John, you can see it. There is from the bottom of Spindlehaven. So Spindlehaven is a rock shaped like a spindle. But on the bottom of the spindle, growth of wooden decks, docks, planks, buildings have begun branching out like a whiskery beard in all directions. People haven't just been like, oh, hey, we're going to build 100 foot away from this. Now they've been like, nah, I need to be...
There were no building codes, no approvals.
Yeah, there's a chunk of something floating over there. People still living on it. It's good. It's
Yeah.
viable. It's got some rope to it.
Yep, and you know, there are pieces that are around that are now just drifting that have broken off of Spindlehaven, because of the shoddy craftsmanship.
Well,
Like, and off floating in that direction is the old house.
Yeah.
Exactly.
you take that
I pretty-
rope bridge over there to get to it.
I pretty much imagine, like, fucking real estate, buying real estate in that place. Yes, to that distant asteroid. I'd like that. And they're like, all right, have fun building a house on it.
Yep. So, it is a web, a maze of piers and ships that are all tied off. Some of them are floating just around. And so, as the Amber Falls is just kind of like drifting, trying to do her best, Anne is trying to do her best to get this thing maneuvering, it's shaking back and forth. There have been close calls. and ahead of you there are openings that are maybe about 5 to 6 meters larger than the actual Amber Falls is around. And the captain's like, no, we can park over there. And Anne's going, can we just moor here? And he's like, no, we want to butt up to the dock.
So
Right there.
yeah, so she, does the whole "I, Captain," but then you, Kodrog, are hearing her under her breath just cursing the
son of a
shit out of everything
Bitch
about.
wants to park up front.
Yeah.
There's a spot there when we can walk.
So I imagine, physics wise, because it's the confluence of more than one trade wind, there's a lot of disturbance like outside of where they meet. So we're getting like caught up in like shifting winds depending on where we are, as is everyone around us.
Yeah.
And then like with every new command, like Anne's teeth get tighter and tighter, and she's like,
Which doesn't help is at some point there's an opening that she thinks is shitty, but there's a larger one that's going to take it around, and she's like, take us to the port side, we're going to go that direction. The captain's like, no, that one's open over there. Go park over there. You've been in the car with this person, where you're just like, oh look, there's a park spot. No, there's one up there.
Yes.
And you look, and you're like, a small compact could be in that spot, and I'm going to drive all that way just to be let down.
frickin' motorcycles, man.
Frickin' motorcycles.
Hey, you be nice to us, all right?
No. I don't have anything personally against you until it's in a parking lot.
It's fair.
Yeah,
So-
sorry,
I've been there.
Paige. Most of us are cagers.
I've been there on a bike before. So I've been driving, and I've seen other mopeds and motorcycles that are in spots, and I'm like, oh, dang it! Like, I can't just park next to them and be like, sup, bro? No.
I would.
I would.
Yeah.
I was tempted, but the thing is, people aren't that respectful anymore, and I don't want my bike being kicked, so...
Oh.
Fair enough.
Just
Yeah.
get like some cute little stickies that say "sharing is caring" and like leave it on their handlebars or something.
Dude, if you saw my bike, that's believable. It's covered in stickers. It's believable.
Your friend Acid definitely has something against motorcycles.
Hmm.
So with the last order of, no, we can go park over that one. That one's close to some of the merchants. Anne is, like you said, biting at the bit. So when these tugs come toward and start making mention, Arthur makes a hand gesture. Anne's like, tugs. Oh, thank the gods we have tugs. Pay them. And so when he kind of like makes a hand gesture, she's doing a thumbs up. Yes, pay them. And she begins making sign language. Yeah, that one. And Arthur gives a nod and fishes from his pouch silver. The two boats get close enough, gaff poles and whatnot, to draw them, and then they exchange money, and these little guys burst into action. The back end of this metal canister suddenly, of one of them, lets out a fart noise that also comes with a little bit of goopy spray. The spray itself is like a light brown, kind of like Coke Mentos, kind of coming out the back end of this long tube. And then there's, as the guy, Kodrog, as you watch, this guy manipulates these controllers, there are multiple holes on the back of this. And so from like a rear, I just forgot the back end of the ship. It's port, starboard.
Stern.
From the stern of the ship, these holes are pointing in different directions, and so he begins manipulating, and these bursts of foamy brown liquid begin shooting in different directions, and this tug begins like flipping around like it's a live creature, and they all begin swarming around, the six of them begin swarming around the Amber Falls, and this stuff is now floating everywhere. As it hits the Amber Falls, they all begin kind of half pushing in different directions, and begin making that
Unique
farting
sound.
sound. I'm not going to call it unique. It sounds like farts, and they're wet farts too.
Oh my gosh. Does their excretion have to be light brown?
Oh, well, yes, of course. It's because of the chemical components in which is used to create this alchemical masterpiece.
Couldn't you just
Yes.
add bleach and then food dye? And make
They
it
don't
pink?
know what
Nah.
bleach is
Why?
These are
or food.
these are
dye.
doo-doo tugs.
I'm pretty sure
the good thing is that it evaporates very quickly, and so if it hits when it hits the boat, it just leaves like this powdery brown residue.
Yep,
Great.
the doo-doo tugs don't leave too much of a mess, but they definitely make a decent amount of sound. No, there's no smell. So the doo-doo tugs, I'm just going to keep going with that one. I love it. I can't get it off my tongue. The doo-doo tugs.
I'm pretty sure
This
that's
is
what
what
the
happens when-
shipmates call it. Like,
Can't get it off your tongue.
This is what happens when you hang out with an 11-year-old for a week.
They begin pushing the Amber Falls. One of them begins yelling at Anne, "Close your tiller sails, close your tiller sails." So he doesn't stop. Like you guys heard it the first time. He started going into action, but he just kept yelling louder and louder. Then he started yelling in Takeow. Then he started yelling in Noth. He just started picking languages and yelling, "Close your tiller sails."
just imagine he goes through all the languages and fucking Thomas is there like, I get it. Like, he hates this place
And so-
already.
It's very stressful.
The Amber Falls begins twirling through the trash and the garbage and the other ships and the other docks.
Yeah, and so as the tugs, I can't do tugs.
Dude, tugs. I swear, chat, we are a mature group of people that are adults
Right.
that have lives.
Yep.
Sure.
They make no qualms about avoiding the other boats that are in their way or the docks or anything. All of that spray just goes straight onto them,
everybody
right?
else
Like
gets hit.
they get hit right in the face with a.
If the doo-doo tugs have a problem with somebody getting in the way, one of the doo-doo tugs will break off and go push them out of the way.
Yes.
Without question. Oh, tiny boat!
You're
You're out of our way.
They-
We have precedence because this is, how we make our money.
exactly. They got money and they're gonna keep it.
And so they maneuver the Amber Falls into a great position up along one of the void docks. The void dock itself is connected to several other ships. The Amber Falls, of course, for this dock in particular, is much larger than all the rest. And Thomas, I need you to, we're going to do our first skill check.
Hey, what's up?
As you are on the deck, actually Thomas and Kodrog will both make the roll. Make an awareness check. And so you're going to look onto your character sheets, and in the center column of the skills, there's going to be an awareness. Both of you should have one. And it has a number
Yes.
listed.
It's on E26.
Yep.
To be successful, you
helps
must
immensely.
roll 3d6 and equal that number or less.
Oh, yours
Oh.
might be different.
Okay, 3d6.
Yay!
I
got 8. 8 versus 14.
That's good.
5 versus 11. I just dropped something.
Oh my goodness.
Excellent.
5 is really good. So
Both of
let's
you
talk.
are
I got 2 ones.
So let's talk about dice rolls. You get a 3 or a 4, that's a crit. 3 and 4 means that you're going to double your damage. If you roll a 3, something spectacular is going to happen, like most likely, whatever you were trying to do, you nailed it with aces. And we'll reach out to the audience and be like, hey guys, what happened? Or you could describe it in whatever manner, and so on and so forth. When you're making a dice roll, for most skill checks, it's for every 3 less that you get something, you've done better than you should have. So if you make your skill check, which is, let's say, 11, great, you see the thing in question as an awareness. Let's say you get a 8. You beat it by 3, you get the awareness that you were wanting, and if there's other information. So both of y'all beat your target number, what you wanted, by 6, which is 2 greater than what you wanted, which is really good. You guys are paying attention because this is rather scary. On the dock where the doo-doo tugs are pushing you guys, there is another boat already latched on. There are also buildings, by the way, attached to this void dock that spire out in different directions, like there are what look to be bamboo or scaffolding holding out sections of the void dock that are attached to buildings and other ships. It is a ramshackle of mess. But as the doo-doo tugs are pushing you guys in, both of y'all are become very aware that there is a small vessel that is about to become crunched between the back end of the Amber Falls and the dock itself. The dock is made out of stone, metal, and wood, and these things are built to take a punch. The Amber Falls is too. This small little drift boat, on the other hand, it's trash. It seems to have a house on it that smoke is coming out of, and there's a bit of light on the inside of the cabin itself, so it looks like somebody's little, like, retirement plan.
Oh no! How'd they get such prime parking if they've got such a garbage boat?
They might
It's
live
a good
there.
question. They might have stole it.
Yeah. They're squatting.
They're squatting. So
Oh gosh.
I will let, because Paige rolled the best, I'll let Paige go with the response first.
Is there space around this vessel that we can park next to it and not crush it? Like if I, for example, casted a wind of some sort or a push towards our vessel or its vessel, could I just gently push it to the side? Or is it like we need to stop and turn around?
When you look upon this vessel, it's tied down by two lines. It's tied down by one line to the dock itself. So if you pushed it, it's not really going to go anywhere. You'd have to sever that line and then push it. As far as it goes for changing the course of the Amber Falls, you would be fighting against the other 6 doo-doo tugs that are currently pushing the Amber Falls on its crash course into this tiny little vessel.
Okay, so I'm going to. I mean, they're on a vessel. They can get back to the island. I'm going to trust that. I will cast some sort of, instead of burning, because that's just gonna fucking burn the entire rope.
It's
going
gonna
to
cause more problems.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try. I don't know. Is there like a? I'm trying to think of a spell that could exist.
I just had a thought. You made 2 greater than what you needed. So as you look upon the situation, begin looking around to the rest of your crew members to see who else has noticed. Only Kodrog seems to become aware of this tiny vessel's predicament.
I trust Kodrog, but
I've already got a plan.
But I have 2 hands that can cast something.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather cast something to cut that rope and then push this cabin away. I see what you're getting at, because if Kodrog tosses a knife at something, he could cut it. But I have 2 hands, and I'd rather try. He can still do that if I fail my spell casting, whatever. But I would like to try doing that first. It's just the only spell that I can think of at the top of my head is like create blades or like sever or something using sharp wind effects or anything like that, or even friction of the rope to make it sever. That could be this. Anyway, but yeah, that's what I would like to do, please.
All right. So this sounds like an arcane spell. So you're going to. Oh, that's a good point. Sharp pieces of ice.
Ooh. Who? He said, you know me so well. I love ice. I'm a sucker for ice magic. But yeah, I will totally do something like that. That'd be fucking amazing.
All right.
It's almost
So-
like a conjuration.
Yep. So you have under your spellcasting, there's spellcastings are particular, and so one of them is an arcane. So we're going to. Ice actually sounds more druidic, as far as that goes. But it's also probably an arcane spell because you're conjuring a shard of ice into existence.
Yeah, it's more yeah. I can't think of a word, but yeah.
We got you.
Where am I? What am I looking at right now? I'm trying to find.
You're going to look for the spellcasting skill, and it's got a specialty called arcane.
It's D11. Oh, I'm sorry, D10.
Found it. I found it.
Oh no, you're going to scroll down.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There it is.
Mine's C30. I found it.
Okay.
I found it. Okay.
And so we're assuming that this is at least a first level spell that you're whipping out. So it's going to at least absorb some mana.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to use like everything on this rope, and pushing the vehicle. 12 and 12, and then my mana is 7. And I'm down to 6. Okay, I have 7, 8, 9. 9 out of 14.
Woo!
Excellent.
Nice. Yeah. So describe what you wanted to happen.
Sweet. Yeah. Thomas, as he sees this, he immediately takes a fabulous position. I can't think of a better term than that. He starts speaking in well, it would be Draconic. I don't know if Draconic is still here.
Wit's gone. It's now just the arcane language.
Sweet. He speaks in Arcane, and he starts doing whatnot with his hands, and the rope just you could blink and you'd miss it, and there's this. Basically, okay, let me conjure my thoughts here and to make this sound cool.
All right.
When you look upon the rope, the wind around it starts forming into these ice crystals, and it just starts whipping around this rope like a razor, just shredding it until it snaps off, and Thomas moves his other hand in another position or another gesture, and that same icy wind basically turns into flakes, snow, and it gently pushes this vessel, but hard enough to push it away from us. Yes, that's it.
All right, I like that.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Nice.
I will write that down. Icy razor sharp wind spell.
Icy.
Got another spell I got to make up. I think that's fine.
I can help you with that. You just need to contact me.
You're right, I do. I did. I thought I did. I'm sorry. I've been busy.
Thomas's one hand is doing this to swirl the wind around the rope, and then he's like, "Go away now."
Shoo shoo. Shoo shoo. Yeah. So if Kodrog sees this, because I imagine everybody's just used to Thomas being like this all the time. Yeah.
All right, Kodrog, you're bear witness to this as you're bringing in some of the tiller sails and listening to Anne as she's barking orders to the back end of the ship about how to deal with the masts that are back here, the sails that are back here. And as you look down, you see the vessel, you see Thomas rush to the side, make the hand gestures, and then the small vessel tumbles away. Did you want to do anything?
Well, I mean, since it's taken care of, I don't think that I need to do anything. But before I saw Thomas taking care of the situation, I thought that I may have to simply leap off the deck of the ship with my axe in hand and try to sever the line myself.
That's what you were thinking. I just imagine you flying off into space.
But now I can reel back my thoughts of grandiosity and just get back to the task at hand.
Excellent.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay. So the small vessel tumbles away, now covered with bits of frost and flakes and the tiny little blizzard that came out of nowhere. The retired fisherman coming out of his vessel, looking around, holding on as he tumbles through the mess that is Spindlehaven's lower half. The Amber Falls is pushed by the doo-doo tugs right up alongside, and Arthur at the front of the ship begins calling out, all hands, tie lines, moor the ship. Large Uterans, apologize, brain fart. Several large Uterans begin grabbing lines as they're thrown to them, and they begin lashing the amber falls to the side.
Yeah.
The impact is not as hard as it was on that tiny little hold way far away as you were chasing after the princess, where the void dock actually bent under the weight of the amber falls. This is actually a hell of a lot more gentle. It's like, butts up, and that's it. You know, there's like 3 of the doo-doo tugs pushing this way, then one of them slips around to the other side and begins pushing back, and so it's a slow drift, and then they're like, nudge, nudge, nudge. Like delicate little artists that shit everywhere as they move around. The amber falls becomes...
So every artist. I see what you're getting at.
The amber falls gets tied off, and the dock master begins approaching the dock. The captain begins moving toward, and at this point in time, we shall now be looking at taking a quick break from our broadcast.
Nice.
You made it to Spindlehaven!
Yes.
Yay! We didn't die.
Yeah.
Not yet. I have two backup. I have
Not
two
yet.
backup idea characters in mind if I die. So.
Oh, is this something that you and I need to talk about? Because I kill off players all the time.
Unless Thomas dies, not yet.
So you're
Unless
not
you're
asking
planning
me
on-
to kill Thomas off.
No, I would never ask anybody to kill my characters off.
I had a player do
How
that one time.
dare you?
He died the next game session and was pissed. It's like, I wanted something different. I was like, you didn't talk that with me. Anyways,
Yeah.
see you guys in 10 minutes.
guys.
Welcome back!
Woo!
Welcome to the Shattered Isles.
I'm Max.
I'm Cassie.
We're your co-GMs for... I don't know.
This
what to call
adventure.
it. Yes, adventure.
Yeah.
Sorry, I threw it at you, and I realized I was like,
This
man, what do I want?
adventure! Join us now as Kodrog and Thomas disembark on their separate quests.
Upon arriving at
Separate?
Spindlehaven. Yeah.
Separate? Are you splitting the team?
We're
Yes.
splitting the party.
Yep.
I mean,
No.
This is a Scooby-Doo moment.
Well, Thomas, you
And Larry.
have...
oh.
And Maria...
I love
I'm
that.
good with
I
that.
love that. She's like, oh.
I-
Damn it.
I kind of, a little part of me was like, oh, I have shopping time with Jason. And then you said Larry, and I was like,
Dang it. Well, before you get to have your shore leave fun times, you have a job to do, Thomas.
I do?
Yes, you
What is
and
it?
Maria need to head over
Oh, we gotta sell that. Yeah.
to
Yeah, that's part of your job.
the Order of the
Yep.
Ancient Chestnut Coffer. It's a wholesaler, thank you, Oz, that Maria says is tells you is one of the more reputable wholesalers that deals in goods that are, for the most parts, not gonna get anyone in trouble.
Also, they have the ability to purchase.
Large quantities of expensive items.
So it's like, hey, we should go to them first to get unload quite a bit.
As much as
Her
you
words
can.
would be exactly, we're going to the coffer, the ancient chestnut coffer, because we're going to be able to unload a large portion of this material, and she points to the lower quality, quickly and get a decent profit, and then the rest of it pointing to the more higher quality material. Or, for those of you who haven't been playing the home game, whale vomit.
Yep.
Yes, that's right, whale vomit. It creates a material called...
It's ambergris or ambergris, depending
Ambergris.
on how you like to pronounce it.
Yes, whether you're got
Ambergris.
Yeah.
enough English or
And
enough French in it.
in this world, and also in the Shattered Isles, it is a highly sought after fixative in perfumeries and perfumes and fancy things that
Yes,
like to smell good. So,
yeah.
Right.
Plumbing really has not been invented, and so showers or baths are... They happen.
Yeah,
They happen.
especially on isles, because, there's gravity.
Yep. But smelling good happens more often.
Yeah.
There's ways of showering in space. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen it, but I've seen it.
You can wash bits and pieces of you.
Yeah.
So,
The important parts and your
Exactly.
hair and
yes.
face.
So, like she would say that the first third, or at least the first portion of it, are going to them, and then we have to hunt down someone else that is going to make these kind of purchases. And so, I want to go to the top of Spindlehaven to do my selling, and I want to take somebody with me who, and she'll like look to the ground, someone who can handle themselves around people of higher status. And I heard, I mean, not only are you my assistant, but I also heard that you, from where you hail from, and Mercy, that you are noble. So you should be able to at least talk to these people if we run across one.
Indeed. I do have the education for
those
it. Not to
rich
mention
Those
mention
Richie rich.
conversations with my father. I know how to deal with things.
Good. I can deal with rich folk some of the time, but most of the time it's the rich men that I am only really skilled in dealing with.
Wink.
No, Thomas gets it. He doesn't. I mean, he kind of does that thing where he goes, okay, like, you do you. Let me handle this.
You do you. I'll do the captain. What?
Oh!
You don't have to do that. I will do the speaking. You don't have to show off. or flirt or anything.
I wasn't planning on it. Most of these people are well spoken for, and I'm not what you would refer to as a high quality lady. I don't have the necessary skills and assets to make it work for me up there.
Well, if you're talking technicality, I guess so, but I wouldn't put yourself down.
She laughs.
You're a beautiful young woman, Maria.
Oh, that's good. I like it. I think that you definitely have a silver tongue, but I know where I'm coming from and where I'm going to, and a little extra leg up there is going to get me thrown in jail quickly. So I need somebody who can.
What I was basically, I wasn't saying that. Let's just go. I was trying to give you a compliment. You made it awkward. I'm just gonna go.
I didn't awkward. It's one of those expensive words they teach you in mage school, isn't it?
Awkward or hysteria?
Both. Look, let's get our ledgers together and head out. So,
You take a sample of the stuff you want to sell to the wholesaler, so they can inspect the quality of it.
nice small brown chestnut box. Ancient chestnut coffer, kind of playing off it. Maybe that'll give some extra credit and bonus points. It's all set up nicely. She's got a decent eye for decor, so she put it in the box, not just like throw it in and shut the lid.
It's organized.
And as the rest of the crew has been gathered upon deck, the captain begins talking to everyone. We're at Spindlehaven, blah, blah, blah. He's doing his talking, right?
I'm the captain.
Hang on. Hang on.
Well, at Spindlehaven, I'm the captain. Blah blah blah. Says Larry.
I was gonna say one. I don't think that's how Jason sounds. At least in my imagination, that's not how he sounds.
Thomas, don't you find me irresistibly attractive?
No,
Larry, man. I feel like
I
John
imagine
should do
Larry does that, and then Jason walks up behind him, and everybody's trying to do that thing with her, like, no,
they
he's
wouldn't.
behind you. Like,
They'd just be like, do some more. Do some more.
you're so good, Larry.
Jesus.
Oh, do Arthur next.
Yeah. The captain has gathered the crew, and he's having a conversation about the coming days and how things are going to work out. You and Maria do not engage in that gathering, that roll call. Instead, the two of you head immediately over to the dock to disembark. As you get to the edge, Arthur greets the two of you. You got everything that you need. Maria will nod. Yep, we've organized everything. Ledgers are ready to go. I've got a few names picked out, places that we need to go. I think I have this well in hand. I'm going to be taking Thomas with me as not only my mate, but also he has some dealings with more of the blue-blooded individuals. I think that might be a benefit for us.
Is it blue blood or red blood?
Well, they call nobility blue-blooded.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That and the Cree.
Ah, yes.
Arthur will give a nod, kind of like raise an eyebrow, like that might not be a good idea. Like he's questioning her decision. Look to you. You make sure that she's safe and take good care of the stuff. I believe that you are more than capable of speaking to some uppity, hoity-toity nobles. He gives a nod. Free to go. As you step off and begin moving down the dock, the captain, Jason, standing up on the forecastle, continues his speech. You get a chance to gaze upon him as you leave. Walking down the void dock, you two, Maria has donned a cloak and pulled it over her head and pulled it tight around her as well. Like other cloaks, it's weighted, so it pulls toward the dock itself. She'll look to you and
Thomas gives her a very confused look, but he also has a cloak and basically just kind of pops his collar and does the best he can. But he does, he's not wearing his hat, so, and he looks like basically a traveler, not a wizard, so, very fancy traveler with pointed shoes, but you know.
Pointed shoes.
Uterans,
Yeah.
Awesome.
Uterans are the main constituent carrying cargo up and down the void dock itself. The large carapace covered
Insectoid-like beings that have 6 pairs of appendages, most of them. You see a couple with an extra one here and there. You see some with wings. More than a few with vestigial wings. And a few that look like they have just the... You see them carrying weight, like gigantic, almost like small house-sized cargo on their back with 4 thick legs, like on that are weighted down with
grindstones.
A lot, carrying these massive boxes across to another ship as you pass by.
They also have, so imagine, and they also have massive claws too with these grindstone boots they have. So they're like carpenter ants from South America. You know, when you see them with the big pieces of leaf moving and stuff. That's what these are. These are like large ants carrying cargo beyond the. Now, a human might be able to do the same thing they're doing, but would have no grace, no control, and most likely, if they make the wrong step, the cargo's just going to pluck them off and drift off into the void. These guys have strength and durability and ability to grapple on.
Yep.
As you're Maria will walk beside you as you pop your collar and move forward. She says, I'd like to move with a little bit of discreetness and not draw attention to us. Also, cloaks are stylish and worn quite frequently here. As you begin moving farther down the dock itself, the people that populate the dock have a bit more loose-fitting clothing. Wearing less seems to be the trend, as most of the dock workers are more worried about moving cargo or working their ship. Just like you guys are. When you're on the ship, it's about being able to prepare for the situation. Where they might have a jacket nearby or have a jacket tied around their waist where they're wearing just shorts and a shirt and no shoes or grindstone shoes as they move about. As you get down to the end of the dock, the buildings that are attached to the dock increase in number, and so do the cloak-wearing individuals it is cold, man. Like, the heat out there is cool, but you're starting to move in close quarters, lots of bodies, and what you expect is not what happens. The temperature drops quickly down towards 0.
It's like when you go into caves. Like, I don't know if any of you have ever gotten to experience like the climate control that is a cave system, where no matter how hot or how cold it is outside, it always maintains the same temperature.
Mm-hmm. Yep. As you get into this cave-like network of buildings that enter into the lower strata of the home itself, the aisle, it drops really...
The hold.
The hold. I said aisle. The hold. It drops quickly, and so Maria bundles herself up, and you guys begin moving. People are already harking at you. They're walking up, they're sticking things in your face, from salted fish to pieces of wood or little pamphlets, as they want you to buy into their stock or their religion. You don't go more than 100 yards into the hold where you come across a building on this end of the hold that is decorated with blue cloth on the outside, and the symbol of the Republic of Porthian decorates this eyesore, this temple that they have erected, because, like I said, there is no laws here that say they can't be here. Money makes everything work.
Yep.
And so you can see their plate mail covered soldiers hanging out near the front door, speaking and watching the motley crowd of strange beings moving about. This is one of their safe homes in the void. There are other temples too, to other gods, and little shrines and pools of water along the walls, and the air is very moist as you begin winding through. and getting to the end of the grindstone location. So it's like a rounded area that is decorated with the mercantile symbols and words that say the money that is actually accepted here, silver, gold, and realm coins don't matter. The laws that say protect thyself first is written in the stonework under your feet. It's hard to see because of the traffic that is passing through here. And above you is a spreading cavity that is like stalactites and stalagmites, a cave that goes above you.
And you
Covered-
also
Go ahead.
recognize that these stalactites, for example, most of them aren't actually rock. They're the buildings that have grown from the outer edges of the hold into the interior. You see ropes that kind of crisscross everywhere, and people pulling themselves along to get from one side of the hold to the other.
And they're jumping and they're traversing through this open space above their head, and you can see these pillars, these towers that stretch from the walls. And as you look from where you can see all the way up, there's a light way up high like a beacon. Now you're not at the bottom. You can still go down this tunnel, but up top it's beautiful. It's like a yellow, a whitish yellow, almost as if the heaven itself has opened up on the other end of the hold. And you can see dozens of people traversing. Maria will look to you, and she will say, looking at like a little fold-out descriptor map that she has, when upon gazing at it, you're not really sure how it looks, but then you realize it's not only just a side view, but kind of like little staggered drawings. And she looks at it for a minute. Maybe it's her own personal work because the wording looks similar to her words and writing. And she's like, it should still be over there. She says hesitantly, looking around. All right, so this is where you make an awareness check.
Don't go anywhere, dice. Ooh! 9 out of 11.
Okay. Standing near the docks are people who look of an unsavory sort. 4 or 5 gentlemen that are just hanging out in the shadows. They have cloaks covering their faces. As you guys are hanging out, figuring out what you realize they see that Maria has pulled out a map. She's trying to hold and hide it in her cloak, but they have made contact with it and whatnot. And one of them bumps the other guy and gives a nod, and he turns, looks, and makes a wave, looks up and down at this point in time, and he smiles and leans close and whispers something to him.
All right. Thomas is going to this is going to be really awkward for Maria, but Thomas is going to kind of pull her close by the waist, the hip, like they would be a couple. And he he leans down to like kiss her cheek, but instead he whispers in her ear. But he makes it look very flirtatious and very like
Intimate.
Oh, we're just here to shop.
Oh, okay.
But he'll tell her that there are the three guys in cloaks. You said 3?
4 guys, maybe a 5th.
4 guys. Yeah. Thomas will say that there are 4, maybe a 5th person in that alleyway, and they notice that you're holding something particular.
Yeah. So, has anybody ever been to New York City?
I have.
Okay. When you go to New York City, one of the things that you want to avoid doing is looking up at the buildings. Because all the Harkers will...
You don't look up at the buildings. You don't have your camera out. You try really hard to look like a local, especially when you go to Times Square if you don't want to be bothered. Because they know how to spot, tourists from a mile away.
And they're looking for you. Because you don't know what you're doing.
Yep.
You don't know where you're going. And you need help. Help lifting that heavy metal out of your pocket.
Yep.
And they have no problem with doing it in convincing ways.
Yeah, that would make sense. Thomas will suggest that we either make it look like we know where we're going, or take a really long route and lose them.
She will fold her map and say, I can do a long route. but yeah, actually no. She'll take your advice, whichever you choose. She'll look at you. Since her thing is acting and bluffing and whatnot, she'll turn to your embrace and move to a point where it looks a little bit more intimate and say, "Just do something." Because those guys at this point in time are no longer hanging out in the alleyway. There's now 2 of them in the alleyway. The other 3-ish have disappeared. This is a place that's sizable and large, and a lot of cloaks look the same.
Great.
What would you like to do?
We'll take the long route then.
All right. So you kick off the ground and begin zipping through the darkness. Well, it's not really dark. Looking up and just shooting off. Do you magic it a little bit, make you move faster?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I don't want it to make it obvious, but if they catch it...
You want to make it obviously discreet.
Well, here's the thing. If they catch it, and if they want to have a confrontation, they know that they're going to go up against a
Hi,
mage.
Kobo Cafe. Thanks for following.
Okay, so what, like, your hand suddenly bursts of magic beneath you as you shoot off the ground? Or is it more along the lines of you shoot off the ground faster than you actually should have? There's no magic, no sparkles, it's just... Wow. That's not natural.
Yeah. As long as I can have Maria and the ambergris with me, then yes.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you're capable of holding on to both of them. She's of at least dainty enough frame.
Radio pointed out that these are Larry's kind of people, if he's actually with you guys.
Larry has his own mission at this point in time. He has yet to discover that he's not going on shore leave.
Oh no!
Because
why?
Don't you remember some of the shit he pulled recently?
I mean, I kind of do. The recent one was that he snuck away when he wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's the only one I remember, though.
He disobeyed the captain, threatened to shoot a whale, even though the princess said not to.
That's
true. He's got his own little thing going. I wouldn't worry about Larry.
Grounded.
You'll hear about his mixed adventures later. In fact, me and Radio on the Discord can make a channel. Let's talk about the shit Larry does.
Yes, definitely.
Oh my god, that's beautiful. You can do a day-by-day diary of, like, day number 2, Larry did this. Like...
So, yeah, no, Larry's not with these guys. These are definitely Larry's people. Larry loves these people.
I bet he does.
So you guys shoot off into the darkness, twisting, moving from one jumping point to the next.
Radio Free Larry. Awesome.
Tune in!
And begin using your magic to maneuver. They do follow. Your awareness is high enough that at some point you look back, and when you're flying through this void, through these twisting towers, and you make a sudden left-hand turn without actually getting anywhere near a jump, a rope, or anything that makes sense. Hey, they should be able to turn left here. You just and took a turn. That's when they disappeared. They no longer followed. Not that they couldn't. I'm sure they could correct and figure it out. But you were no longer being tailed at that point in time. Somewhere else, they were just like, oh man, that guy just did like this weird ass turn. Yeah, that's a mage. Don't fuck with it. Back off, back off, back off.
Pretty much.
Abort.
Don't fuck with it.
So you guys are able to twist and turn and take the long way around. During this maneuvering, Maria is able to watch all this. She asks, so are you single?
What? Did she just ask me what I thought she asked me? You cut out there halfway.
I said, so are you single?
Single as in like a,
You know what I'm asking. Look, I'm noticing my options. That's all.
I'm flattered.
You're holding on to me pretty nice.
Well, yeah. You see, it makes it when people see it in public, it makes them awkward. So I was kind of hoping that the cloaked men weren't, going to watch if we did anything else.
What else do you want to do? I mean, I can do a lot of things.
Oh boy. Maria.
She can.
I have thought ideas.
Look, I think you're the second person I'm going to tell this to in my entire lifetime that's going to be very blunt.
She
I'm
smiles.
not,
She's like, oh, okay.
He gives her a straight look and he just goes, I like guys. I like men. I find you very attractive, but I don't want to, it's just not, I never have chemistry with females. It just doesn't work.
Are you a eunuch? I mean, I hear that wizards get their balls removed so that they cast magic better.
No. I have those.
You guys at this point in time are alighting in one of the jump points that are a little bit farther the way, a little bit better looking neighborhood and whatnot. So you get a chance to get some room between you and her, because she is definitely pressed up against you at this point in time.
Yeah.
She's been holding on nice and snug like.
No, that's not it. It's just it's a feeling thing. It's hard to explain, Maria. It's really not that important.
She says, that's always important. Besides, you've got a nice ass, so whoever you actually do pick will at least have that going for them.
Well, thank you. Thomas is at a loss for words.
She's like, wow, I would have to say that I just cast some sort of spell over you because you look all messed up in the head, but I don't have that kind of magical talent. So I need you to snap out of it and come back here for a moment. Where that was going was not, it didn't work. So let's just forget it happened and get back to work. Man, and she's, at this point in time, you hear her say under her breath, because you're very observant, I keep striking out so much. Just got to go with what works. So she turns, all right, pulls out a little map. This is where we're at. This is where we need to go. Over that direction. Can you get us there, or do we just need to...
I mean, I can't. I'd rather not perform any other spells or incantations.
She did
at
point.
this
Okay, if
moment.
we can get over to there, just jumping from here to there, we can take the lines. Ropes over to that side, and we'll be able to walk the ropes over there and get to the chestnut coffers.
Great. Yeah. I have a side question
Sure.
on the character. I work with Maria quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the first time that she's made googly eyes at me?
No,
Okay,
but this is the first time you guys have been alone off the boat.
that's fair.
This is also the first time, technically, you guys have been alone. There's always somebody around. The boat is filled with people. You turn around to take a squat, and somebody's knocking on the bathroom door going, hurry up.
Yeah, that's fair. And have I noticed her advances towards the fuck is a moist maiden brothel? That's the worst name ever, John.
How is that? That's the best. That is the best. Maidens and moist. Like,
I'll drink
You
to
gotta
that.
make it. I guess if like I guess that would fit Spindlehaven, but
they're very
fucking
literal here.
anyway. Would Thomas have seen the interactions or the advances Maria's been making to Kodrog?
No. That's rather private.
Oh,
So you don't know of that.
not even like flirtatious looks or
No.
a knowing glance.
Nope. So, side story that you wouldn't know of. You know what? Nope, I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to say no, you haven't seen that part. But in all honesty, Thomas is one of the more attractive guys on the ship. Everybody else is a little bit rough around the edges.
That's fair.
Also, in consideration, the captain is pretty powerful, but maybe she sees you as the next most powerful person, and you're also handsome.
Fair.
So
I probably also smell better than all of the other guys.
There you go. Maybe it's just a situation that's been coming. Maybe it's also the situation that you grabbed a hold and held onto her tight. And,
You know, in the moment.
in the moment.
Why not ask?
Yeah, I guess. No, I was curious because if I saw any advances for Kodrog and her, I would have mentioned something. But Thomas is just gonna. He's not gonna. That's for sure. And he would basically tell her, "Don't. You can't hide it, especially if you have feelings. It's kind of something that has to be solved." And he'll tell her that as they're floating.
Listen, I'm too old to have feelings. I'm too old to worry about babies. I just kind of want a man who can take care of me so I don't have to keep working so hard.
How old is she?
She's in her late 20s, just like you are.
Oh.
She's your age. Probably
I
about
keep
2 years older than you. So she might be 30.
I keep forgetting that, like, Shattered Isles is like, you can marry at 13.
Yeah.
So when she was like, I'm getting old, I can't care about babies, I'm like, girl, you're the most fertile. Like,
Girl, you don't even know.
oh
my gosh.
Okay, even if I was into ladies and I gave this a shot, one, I would still be on the ship working, and two, if I wasn't, I'd be traveling.
She laughs. She's like, no, I guess I'm just, she as you guys are drifting over to the next landing point to grab the ropes and launch yourself another direction, she goes, I guess I'm just curious. I've been with a lot of men before, but I've never been with a mage. I've never been, should use the word wizard. I've never been with a wizard before. I thought maybe there'd be something different about it.
Depends on who you end up with.
Most of them are old.
It's true.
I don't understand. How are you young and the rest of them are old men that are beyond the age of rocks?
They study a lot. A lot of the times you start out as a young age and you have to study and study and study. There are others who pick it up on instinct.
Which means that you're better at it than the rest.
I wouldn't use that term.
I would use that term. Come on, don't put yourself in that situation. She'll smile. You're better than that. And you can see she's relaying back to the comment of earlier. You've got this far as a spellcaster, at wiggling your fingers and making things happen. So that means you should...
Did you realize what you just said? Because I realized what you said and I was like, this is why she wants him.
You guys grab a hold of the next piece of rope and begin pulling yourself across to one of the rope. We're going to call it a rope street or a street line. And so you guys are now at this point heading toward the second to last location before you head off to the chestnut coffer. Having this strange... Now, you guys are out in the middle of everything, so there's not... It doesn't echo. It's not echoey. And so no one else is hearing the conversation you're having in hushed tones, and this is definitely a chance for you guys to have this this moment privately.
But yeah, he basically just explained. He goes, no, I call it, it's a bloodline thing. My mother and father were both wizards or mages and had magical talent, and their bloodline after their bloodline, it's a... Yeah, they didn't really get to choose each other being married. It was their parents. They wanted to have, like, a elite line of mages. But
I was married when I was 14, and it was to the Cartwright of my local town. There was the Keshan War a few years later, and before that, he was summoned by our Lord to be in the military. I was 16 and with child when he left, and he never came back. The child did not make it, caught a disease on the skin, and afterwards I was in my 18th year, and no man would marry me because I had yet to bear a child. I had had another man who was not my husband bear a child with me, and the townspeople stoned me, and so I had to leave. And when I made it to Narak, I bare another child who did not make it, and so rumors came that I could bear no children, and so I could do nothing. Luckily, in a bar fight one night, I saved a guard who was friends with the captain of the guard, and word of my actions landed upon Princess Amber's ear, and she sought me out. I was in the uprising with her father. I was on one of his vessels, and that's where I've been ever since, for the last 10 years, on a ship. And so I understand where you come from when you say it's not what you wanted, or when you say that your parents didn't have a choice. I didn't have a choice either, but I made something work for me. And so now I'm here, and I'm hoping that we make enough money that I don't have to be here. And maybe I can convince you to go some other way. And she smiles.
maybe. Maria, you don't have to. I'm sure you know this, and I'm probably just reiterating things that your brain has conjured to tell yourself, but you don't have to bear kids or to marry a guy if you don't want to marry a guy. It's just something that these times or these people, these ideas are, I think, too advanced for most people to comprehend. I was gallivanting with another male mage in the college, and when we were caught, he decided to act innocent on it. And instead, my father, nearly killed me. Gave me a really stern talking to, and didn't want to believe that his son was, well, a fairy. So.
It's a strange word to use.
Well, I would use the more vulgar word, but I decided not to.
She'll shrug. Well, don't say that around a failing. They might get offense to it.
After that, I left. It felt right, and I never looked back. And I pray and hope that I never come across my family or my bloodline ever again. In fact, it's kind of one of the reasons I joined the ship. Or rather, signed up for it. I was kind of lucky joining the ship. Because I had no experience.
She goes, neither did I. She looks to you and kind of strains Cray. Really? None at all? At this point, you guys are at a junction about to head down the street. You can see the front end of the... So buildings... So here's an important thing. Buildings have two doors. It's a door at the roof and a door that usually accesses the street. The one that accesses the roof tends to be like for cargo and stuff. So buildings are a little bit odd in no gravity. And she has this peculiar none at all?
Is she asking for his skill, or...
Yeah, you said.
Yeah.
I was kind of lucky because I had no skill.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I was hiding the fact that I was talented, and usually when someone is talented, like I am, people tend to call you master, or they follow you around, or they bow to you, or they fear you, and I don't want to be feared. I don't want to be bowed to. I want to be a normal person.
She'll grab you by the hand. Well, Thomas, no one here fears you. In fact, they mostly laugh at you, especially when Larry is in the room. So give you a tug as you guys begin drifting over toward the chestnut. She says, you don't have anything to worry about it. We're good. As far as what we've talked about, don't tell anyone. I won't tell anyone what you've told me. And she'll give a sad chuckle. But not at all? Not even the slightest hint in being a sailor?
None.
So you guys, she quiets at this point in time, and you guys drift over to the, what was the full name? I want to read it again.
The full name is the Order of the Ancient Chestnut Coffer.
All right.
Why do you ask, Maria?
She goes, no, nothing. Something's just it's just a bug in my brain. I can't get rid of it. I'll figure it out later.
All right.
The building is large. It's made out of mostly wood and stone. It's definitely in the remnants of some sort of large stone structure that's part of the actual isle itself, carved into it as you guys are approaching. The building is well lit, and the neighborhood looks really nice. There seems to be a patrol of guards drifting about. And when I mean drifting, they're literally drifting. So do you want to, is this your description? I don't want to cut into you.
It can be my description, if that's easier for you. Sorry, I just had a...
No, do you thing. Or do we want to cut over to the other side of the story?
I was actually thinking that maybe, as they enter, we'll cut over
Ooh,
to the other
then
side.
I'll do a description of the building and then go from there. So, it looks to be, by your best understanding, about 4 stories high. The upper 2 stories have angled walls with large hatch openings. Some of them are open, and cargo bins, or large wooden structures that are attached to flying creatures of some type. You see one of them being pulled by a new Terran who has his wings out, which is, as you've noticed about, Nibley has a tiny pair of wings, the Doc has 0 wings, and this guy has like a huge set of wings. He's pulling out a large cargo crate and drifting away. And so as you guys are approaching this large wooden building of decent design, a patrol of guards drift over your direction, shine a light in your faces or towards you and say, "Hold! What's your business?" Maria pops up and says, "We're headed to the Order of the Ancient Chestnut Coffer for trade." One guard raises, as they're drifting towards you, says, "I've not seen you around here before." And Maria says, "We're just got in. Rushed here immediately. Best place to do business. Who might you be?" And the guard responds, "Cousin to..." What's the name of the wholesaler?
Seth.
Okay, so the Tekiao guard says, "Cousin to Seth. I float around making sure there's no riffraff about, keeping the place safe." And Maria gives a nod. We are here purely on business." He goes, "All right, move along." And they continued their path of drifting past you guys. You approach the building, drift down, land on the ground. One quick bind over, and you are entering into the well-lit establishment of the Order of the Ancient Chestnut Coffer.
And cutscene. John,
Yes.
Kodrog has been called to the forecastle with the rest of the riggers and the crew of the Amber Falls. There is a excited tension in the air. Everybody is expecting to hear 2 words.
Roll call used. Roll
Shore
call.
leave.
Gather round, the captain's got something to say to you all.
So, go ahead.
I've got my hands in my pockets of my overcoat with all my fingers crossed. Shore leave, shore leave, shore leave.
There have been people taking bets on which shifts are going to be able to duck out first. So there's a rolling bet right now.
Are you in on it?
Are you,
Oh yeah, but like I'm on.
you're on first shift.
Yeah, so I've bet on first shift going first because it's logical, and I've also placed a side bet with Larry that I will get extra shore leave
Ooh, nice. He'll take it.
on really good odds.
Okay. He'll give you 2 to 3. Yeah, he believes that, it's been pretty sharp. Third shift has been par on, getting stuff done.
Yep.
He'll take that. He thinks third shift is going to get to go first, which would be his shift.
His shift.
Okay. Does he realize he's not gonna go anyway?
Well,
At
he's
least-
just now about to be
Let's just do it.
imitating the captain.
Oh my god, yes!
Let's just get to it. This has got to happen.
Okay.
Yes.
John, would you
please.
like to to be the captain granting Larry as the captain granting shore leave to everyone, especially Larry?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Roll call. Everybody gather round on my deck. Let's see. Well, third shift, you guys are just simply incredible. I can't believe how much work you guys have done. Larry, you are the star. You know what? Come back whenever you want, Larry. We'll go when you're ready to leave. And when you do decide to come back, you can be captain.
The captain is has stood up, and he's staring behind Larry right now, and you see him like tapping his finger on like the railing of the deck, just like waiting.
And Larry continues.
Because I know if you had been captain, you would have let everybody off when we were at the last stop. And they could have at least enjoyed some land under their feet. Maybe had some grass under their toes. But no, you're not captain yet, Larry, so you can't say we can do that.
That's right, Larry. You're not captain yet.
At that point, Larry will jump. Or no, he won't jump. He'll just freeze. Begin looking. Not turning his head, just looking to one side like...
And I'm sure everyone will be happy to know that you won't be captain anytime soon.
And the crew begins to laugh.
Good job, Larry. Good job.
Poor Larry.
For Larry.
Arthur, seeing this moment, he goes, "All right, all gather up in front of the forecastle. Stand up straight. Look presentable. Captain's gonna be doing some talking. And anyone who disrespects the captain, and he gives me permission to, I've got a cat o' nine tails down in me room I'm going to beat you with."
Larry just goes white.
The captain stays deadpan. Like, perhaps yes. So, I know that we were not able to allow shore leave on Narok because of our quick turnaround time. We have a very precious cargo aboard, which we will be reaping the benefits of very soon. with that said, I have been given permission from the princess herself to not only advance you your salaries in full, but to give you a bonus of...
Oh, it's salary again. So they're getting salary times 2.
Yeah.
Which, for translation, it means paycheck times 2.
Yes.
Nice.
Which Thomas didn't get a paycheck.
Yep. An additional salary as well. So salary times 2. You will be going in shifts onto shore leave. First shifts to go will be first shift and third shift. Second
group
shift.
of people cheer.
Second shift, you will stay on and man the boat. And first shift, you will be required back in 6 hours to relieve. Second shift, and third shift, you will be back in 12 hours to relieve first shift.
There's a lot
So
of
no third
dodge and a lot of
shifts.
yeah. At this point in time, Anne's pulled up a chest and she set it down, clicked to a table as she's opened it and began organizing things in baggies of coinage.
Yes.
Oh man. Do we form an orderly line?
Yeah, I feel like I'm back in school. Like,
So, everyone gathers around, and as hands reach out, over and around people, because that there's no orderly lines. It's second shift is kind of like, oh come on, I just want to go out.
I just want to go. I mean, why am I still stuck here? I want my 2 paychecks.
Larry is so excited. Jon, Larry
that
is
poor
very
boy.
excited.
That poor boy's heart's gonna get crushed.
Does
2
Does Larry-
paychecks.
does Larry try to move in a direction that crosses my path?
Yes! Please trip him.
Yeah. Larry is a thin individual, so he's able to slide quickly, and he's got a really good two-step boogie that allow him to slide through the crowd quickly, puts him right back, provoking an attack of opportunity from you.
Yep. So I stealthily reach out my foot to catch his and send him tumbling head over heels.
Yeah.
Because he won't fall to the deck necessarily.
Yeah.
No, but he'll stumble through the air.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, he's going to make an acrobatics to see if he can hold up. All right, yeah, he will be graceful and grab a hold of some of his shipmates, and now he's kind of half drifting, trying to get his feet on the ground. And
my
it
God.
becomes a bit of a tangle. Somebody loses control of their bag. They're snatching for it. There's some yelling going on. Arthur begins slapping a piece of wood on the decking to make a loud noise.
So as he starts sailing through the air, I say, "Somebody, quick, grab the captain!"
Can you imagine? It's kind of like when you're walking with somebody in the winter, and you meet that one ice spot, and then you instinctively grab them and bring them with you when you fall.
Yep. I've seen videos of it.
I've seen videos.
I was
of
gonna
it,
say you guys wouldn't
we
know.
wouldn't.
Yeah. I mean, how do you there's not enough ice in my freezer to
See, here's what you do: you turn up your AC, make sure it's pumping into your basement. Take a hose and then make like an ice rink in your basement.
We don't have those.
Oh my god!
We don't have basements.
Oh
No.
my!
There's the
How do
water
you protect
table
your-
under us, so
Hot tornadoes.
we don't. We just deal with tornadoes.
We get a bunch
Oh
of
my
alcohol.
God.
We go one of the nearby. We just hang out at our house and watch the
watch-
wind blow shit away.
As I said, you watch it.
Sit on our front porches with our rocking chairs and our lemonade.
Yep.
That sounds badass.
Watch
I
as the
would be
neighbor's boat
terrified.
go down the road.
I would be terrified.
So, as Larry gets himself righted again with the help of some very grumbly crewmates, the captain calls out for Larry, I have a special assignment for you.
Aye, Captain.
You're on barnacle duty.
Captain. But barnacle duty's third shift's going ashore. I'm on third shift, Captain. Arthur will pipe in, "I, and third shift, -1, is going ashore. I'll do the math for you." He pulls out a long-handled scraper. "This will be your new friend, Larry. We'll call him Steve. You and Steve are the new crewmates that are going to be cleaning off barnacles. We passed through a field, and a couple of them latched to the underside. You can thank Enu for noticing them. It's only a few hundred."
And you can also harvest the what would they call this? The fans, right? And you can also harvest the fans for Cookie while you're out there.
"But third shift's going on shore leave. I'm supposed to be going on shore leave." "No, son, you and Steve have work to do. So you won't be alone out there on the bottom side of the ship. Don't worry, I'm not going ashore either. I'm going to be staying behind and keeping an eye on those who are behind, while everyone else has their fun. You and me will be doing work." "No, no, 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 no," he keeps saying, like, repetitively.
After I grab my my double pay, I'll approach Arthur and say, "Quartermaster, sir, is there anything I might bring back for you from the shore?"
He'll dig his hand deep into your shoulder, and he is a powerful man. He says, "Aye there, Kodrog. There's a wonderful place in town that sells this dark ale. The name of the tavern is..."
Are you looking for one of the ones that were...
I don't know. Let's just make one up. "Arthur's favorite hangout spot. It's a Keshan bar in town. I need a name for a Keshan bar."
Oh, you bet your ass Bassianus is already there drinking.
He left before anything else happened. He's like,
"I'm not part of the crew." Pew, and he
Not
does
yet,
the Superman.
bitches!
He does the Superman fly away.
"I haven't signed that paper. I'm so
Captain's still forming it out!
It's called anything except the cat's meow.
Oh my god.
It is definitely not called that.
Oh my
The
gosh.
soggy furball?
No.
No, 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 no.
Oh
my God.
He will say
that's
the name in
awesome.
Keshan, and it sounds harsh and a bit harsh on the tongue. But he makes sure to repeat it at least twice for you. He says, "They have a dark ale there. Bring me back 2 flagons." He hands you your 2 bags from the chest, and then he fishes into his pouch and brings out 3 silver coins. "This will pay, and there's room for a tip, and some for yourself."
Oh. Aye, sir. And I'll turn to Larry. "Anything for you?" And then I'll turn around and walk away.
While that's happening, Steve is being thrust into Larry's hands.
Handle it. Okay, so Kodrog, you have your coin, you have Arthur's coin, and where do you go?
I go directly to my bunk because I need to make sure I am properly equipped to go ashore. Because one does not simply go to Spindlehaven without being armed and armored.
One does not simply walk into Spindlehaven.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Guess
so
what I'm watching tonight?
I'm going to go down to my bunk, put my mail on underneath my overclothes, so it's a little bit more surreptitious. Make sure I have all of my socially appropriate weapons. It's like, what are there any regulations in Spindlehaven?
You haven't seen any rules. Nobody's mentioned anything to you.
Just think about the building codes and go from there.
Excellent. Good.
As far as
good.
you know of Spindlehaven, you're about to go in this place by yourself. So there's a couple of things you got to remember. The people here most likely are going to treat you with a decent amount of respect because you are a dwarf. Dwarfs stick together, and it's kind of like hitting an ant pile or swamping that one wasp. They'll call out their friends. So there's that. That doesn't mean that you have some level of anonymity to do what the fuck you want to, because they can still drag you off, and if they're lucky, get rid of you. without anybody else noticing. So there's that. Weapons.
true.
People openly carry crossbows, long swords, bastard swords. Wizards will openly create balls of fire and be like, "Don't fuck with me," you know.
So I'll have my my main weapon, the
maul axe.
the maul axe. I'll have that like visible. However, it's also got the peace tie on it, so that it's not easy to draw it out.
Okay.
But then all of my daggers are like tucked in hidden places, easily accessible, not friendly tied.
I came
but
up with
hidden.
an answer that would best describe Spindlehaven. Might makes right, and money moves people.
Okay.
That's the law.
Yep.
Yeah, so outwardly I'm showing that I'm armed but friendly.
That you don't want
Yeah.
no trouble.
Yeah, I don't want no trouble. I can handle it if it comes.
I could stab you,
But
but
I'm
I'd
not
rather
looking for it.
not.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Okay. Excellent.
Dressing for the season.
Yep. Yeah.
Hi, Palmer.
There's one season in Spindlehaven. Protect yourself.
So you
Cold.
gather your armor and your weapons. Is there anything else that you're gathering?
Oh, the note that I have.
You pull up the bottom of your chest. You pull it up. There's the hidden compartment. You pull out the piece of the envelope. You open it. You begin looking, rereading all the necessary information and the name.
Yeah, and what's the name of the dwarf that I'm supposed to meet to get the further information that I need?
You don't know if they're a dwarf, but you do have a
Oh.
name.
Yep.
The letter says, "Cousin, here's the information that you need. You're to go to
The Filthy Hammer.
and speak to a gentleman by the name of.
Jonah Sparks.
There you will learn everything else that you need to know. Please be careful, and we look to hear from you soon."
So I'm going to the Filthy Hammer and looking for Jonah Sparks.
Yes.
Okay.
It sounds like a emo punk boy band.
Yeah. they've got the side bangs.
Yeah, yeah. And they're all like different. They're like black haired, but like the bangs are red. Yeah.
Dwarven punk band. We're the Filthy Hammer. Rocket.
No, I was thinking more of like Green Day punk band. Or like Fall Out Boy or fucking what's his face?
The
What's his face?
the dwarves come with many facets. Okay, we can be Green Day. We can be anything.
Adam Lambert, that's what I was thinking of.
Oh.
Or Panic at the Disco. I'm trying to think of all the music I listened to in middle school.
Oh boy.
Not saying that it's bad now, chat. If you listen to this, good for you.
All right.
I'm like, that was just like a few years ago.
Yeah, it's like that was like 3 years
That
ago.
was yesterday. How dare you?
Gosh, how young are you?
I'm 22. I'm going on 23 in April.
Gloriously, you leave the Amber Falls behind, getting onto the dock and drifting down it. Your grindstone boots providing a decent spring as you disconnect, click again, and make your way down. The Terrans continuously strain under the burdens that they carry as they move up and down the long dock, passing by different varieties of ships. Most of them are human-made. A couple of them are maybe Tekia or Keshan. None of them are dwarven. All of them are of non-dwarven build. This whole place looks like one match in the wrong direction. It's just going to be a big fire. It's terrible. You make your way down, and just like what Thomas experienced,
it's almost cringeworthy.
It's very
really,
cringeworthy.
The farther
yeah,
you
no.
get in, and you see things that aren't even anchored down. They're just there, attached to other things that are precariously, perched. It's just the more you walk forward, the more you walk forward faster, so you can get onto something that's reliably solid.
like a section.
There's one person who walks out of their hut and they're like, I've got this float away barrel. I'm going to put it here. And it just starts floating and you're like, oh God.
a section of deck a door used for a section of decking on the dock itself. It doesn't open or go anywhere. It's just a big chunk of wood that's a door at some point that it turned into a floor. You get,
Why not?
you get into the actual parts of Spindlehaven and the larger buildings that surround the base of the dock, and it
There
gets
are
colder.
people screaming everywhere.
So fucking loud.
Shouting. It's shouting. You pass by
Oh, yeah.
the Republic's
Temple.
This bright blue, you can't miss it. It sticks out like a sore thumb. The what they call themselves, paladins. The paladins of Porthian, with their shiny metal plate armor.
Oh yeah.
And
Top
they
to bottom, metal
top
man.
to bottom, they have they aren't wearing their helms, but you can see some off to the side, and they have this big obnoxious blue plumage. I mean, they are like decked to the nines in this shitty part of town.
Dude,
You see-
that sounds like my heaven. That looks so gorgeous in my head, and they just look shiny.
It is gorgeous. It's gorgeous. I mean, they are making a statement that the Republic of Porthian is fabulous.
Oh, I love paladins.
So
Yeah, thank you, Pulver. I love paladins.
is this an area where like I'm floating past them, or I'm actually walking past them?
There are lines you can float, but there's also this is a jump point or a place where there's a large collection of grindstones, and that people are walking around. You see that any currency is pretty much accepted, and a sign that says "Protect thine own property" is
Yeah.
written on the ground in the stone. Protect
Yes.
thine own property.
Protect thyself first.
So I have my own personal like safety clip like that I use as a belt as well. So I'm gonna clip it to the line and like pull it so that I can kind of like float and like skim across like in parallel to the line and flick a copper at each of the paladins and try and like bounce it off their breastplate.
Okay. You are attached to the lines. As you attach yourself, you see a young woman who is dressed in the robes of Porthian. They are they're like a very nice like subdued brown color with the bright ass blue of Porthian trim around the hood and at the cuffs of the sleeves. And she comes up to you and she puts her hand out towards you, and you see there's a piece of parchment in her hand.
Oh. I'll take it.
Our next service is in 2 hours. Please join us, cousin.
Surely, if my errands are done by then.
We look forward to seeing you. Blessings of Porthian upon you.
Oh, and blessings upon you! And that's when I'll flick the coins, like, past her at the two paladins that are guarding her.
You bucket!
Yeah, and then I'll yank the line and...
Thank you, kind sir. So she waves them. You get past like the little bit of rabble that's like immediately past the dock. You hear hawkers. You see people just like waiting for people to pass by. New blood coming into Spindlehaven, or just arriving. They don't know what they're doing. You see personally at least 7 different locals offering assistance on traveling through Spindlehaven to get you to where you need to go safely, because it's very dangerous here. And you could find yourself in harm's way.
You could.
You could.
I experienced it last time I was here.
You also will see a young man who looks like he has been accosted by thieves and merchant guards who have bloodied the pulp out of the thieves themselves, and they seem to be helping the young man out and whatnot.
The young man happens to be very finely dressed.
Yeah, and all his clothes have cut marks in them.
How well attended are the two thieves right now?
They are floating away from the ground as they have puffiness in their face, blisters covering their eyes, and blood trickling away from them. They don't look conscious at all.
Are they close enough that I might surreptitiously search their pockets?
Sure. As you drift over trying to get a quick feel of them, The guards who are currently watching the situation, because there's about 5 or 6 of them, one of them eyes you as you start getting closer, continues to watch you. His hand slides to the hilt of his sword on his hip as you drift even closer toward the 2 floating thieves.
I will... As I approach the thieves, I will, instead of searching them, just give them a gentle push back towards the guards and redirect myself back away from them. I don't want no trouble.
As he's watching you, trying to figure you out, watching you from up and down, trying to read you, you push the guard back toward the thief back toward him. He uses he pulls his hand off the pummel and just punches down to watch onto the thief to make his body head down to the ground and bounce a little bit. And then he puts his foot on him and he continues to make eye contact with you as you drift away.
I'll do like a bye-bye.
You're probably not the only person who decided, ooh, free pickings.
You continue to
Vultures, I
float past, floating away from that grisly scene. You hear in the distance, snake oil! Genuine snake oil! From the wilds of Lycania! And you see this man holding tiny vials of this, like, metallic fluid.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Insert that scene from Sweeney Todd where they talk about how it's piss.
Yeah. Smells like piss. Piss with ink. Is there a roll that I can make to evaluate the worthiness and quality of snake oil?
Yes, appraise. Hang on, let's go over the character sheet real quick.
Okay.
Oh, I do believe in its awareness check.
Okay. And let's see. For some of my minor bonuses, do any of them apply? No.
No.
No, definitely not. Okay. All right, appraise. It is. Oh, no. Oh, never mind. That's only 11 versus a 14.
So, if it's actually snake oil, it is Lycanian snake oil is weird because you're pretty sure that these things are not. It's not real. It's a code for really nice mercury.
Oh.
Oh. Okay.
If it's real snake oil from Lycania, it's liquid metal.
That's what you can tell.
Okay. And is it particularly rare?
It's got a particular flavor and significance to dwarves who partake.
Oh, it's a drug!
Ooh.
As Paige has just pointed out, this is
My innocent little mind just clicked.
What are the effects?
euphoria. There can be a taste additive that goes along with it that enhances the flavor of food. There can be disassociation of spirit from body.
Lycania is a very, and he is describing he sees you.
Oh, God,
he sees you.
Eyes.
He's locked eyes on you, Kodrog. He's like, come see the fine quality of this snake oil, please. So he's beckoning you forward.
Makes you look and feel awesome.
Because of its good snake oil, that shit is like
Top dollar.
What do you call it? Like a spirit walk? You know?
That'd be a good description.
Oh, yeah.
You get
Oh,
to hang out.
God.
You get to hang out with the ancestors, ask them questions, shit like that.
Oh, I'll bite. I'll change my trajectory to meet this fine salesman.
Step right up. Please. Feel free to inspect it. And he holds it out to you in like a very like wavy sort of like way.
A slithery way.
A slithery way.
So,
She's like, please inspect
you're
it.
smart enough to know that if this is true mercury, it will not adhere to a glass container. And if it's shitty mercury, it's going to stick the stuff, and that means it's got potential other unwanted impurities into it. And so that's like the first go-to that you know off the top of your head. Yeah.
Okay. So, if he will allow, I will take one of the vials from him and like kind of like shake it or like turn it upside down and try and get the fluid to move so I can see how it interacts with the glass.
Sure. You take it from his waving hand, and you realize he was doing this so the motion could actually have the fluid moving around.
Okay.
Oh, he's not just high?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, he didn't have the shakes.
Is he a human?
Is he a
human?
Dwarf? I don't think he's a dwarf.
I don't think he's a dwarf.
No, I think he's...
I feel like it would be a dwarf, because if it affects dwarves particularly...
Actually, you'd be surprised. Most salespeople don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily have to be dwarves, especially dealing with dwarven drugs.
1 to 2 human,
That's fair.
3 to 4 take you out, 5 to 6 Keshin.
Take you. It's a very...
I feel bad for saying slithery motion now.
No.
No, don't. It's great. So you pick it up, you do another shake, and it is beautiful. Oh. It's globule, and inside the tiny vial that it's in, it like separates into these little tiny pellets of like floating metal liquid.
He starts, all right, well, you think it's a he, but then you realize, oh, that's terrible of me. She begins to talk about where it's found at, how it's processed, how it's purified, all the steps necessary taken to turn this into some top quality material, how it's found and mined as cinnabar, how it's then reduced down using ancient dwarven techniques and stuff like that.
Ancient Lycanian techniques.
Ooh, ancient Lycanian techniques.
Ah. So I'm going to pull out my my gym lens so that I can like get a closer look at the substance.
A true connoisseur. Excellent.
Show off.
Oh, would I know or be able to identify what would, like, anything that would make this questionable for consumption?
Yes,
like
you should have been at least told. I mean, for the people you've hung around, the services, the military time, your time as a sailor, you've got some really good ideas on. It would probably be best like a knowledge of the void.
Okay.
That would apply, and if you don't have any value in it, you still should have some skills left that you could put into it. At least I do believe a 10. That you could slap up in that sucker.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3. I've got 10 it is.
Excellent.
Okay. So I have to roll under a 10?
Correct.
Yes, and because you're a dwarf, we're going to give you a +1. So it makes it 11.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's nice because I got an 8.
Excellent.
Nice.
So, the contaminants that you would be looking for is a reddish hue. That means not all the it's not been broken down far enough, and it still has some of its original qualities in it. That'll make it taste dull, or at least have less an effect. You're also looking for any kind of grit. The bubble at the top, which is
cut with gallium,
cut with something else, it'll look like a funniness. It won't. So when mercury sits in a vial, it bends upward at the top of it instead of downward like other liquids, and so that's really a gauge. Mm-hmm. I'm going to let her make that decision based upon this is her show part.
This looks like the real deal.
A whole dram's worth?
Yeah.
Wow.
A full dram's worth.
I carefully put my gym lens back into my pocket.
You
and
see
turn my
a
head
toothy grin from the Takeo as it's like, I see you approve.
I dare say this may be the finest snake oil I've come across. What is a dram worth to you?
What do you think? Silvers for sure.
Yeah, like 3 to 5. I mean, depends on
maybe
what.
even a gold piece.
Maybe even a gold piece. I mean, it's
Yeah.
all bartering at this point in time.
Exactly.
So of course, she's a takeout, so they're gonna.
They're gonna go high.
Yep.
This fine, sir,
It's cheap.
is cheap. It's beautifully priced, and I will sell it to you for 1 gold piece.
A full coin.
A full crown.
So what is my salary?
Remember, you did receive bonuses as well from the princess, and
Which version of my character sheet is that on, though?
I don't know.
your older one probably.
Yeah, one of them.
Your salary most likely is about, for a month's worth of time, like 3 to 4 silver pieces. So a double salary is like 6 to 7 silver pieces at least. I mean, you guys get paid in silver per month because you do a dangerous job. Mm-hmm. So it's expected that you guys get paid heftily because you have to maintain a home while you're away and shit like that.
And it's 10 silver is 1 gold?
Yeah.
Yes.
So your double salary is not going to be enough to pay for this.
I think didn't they get like platinum coins from Princess Violet?
No, they got
They got
gold.
gold pieces
They got
from
gold pieces from
Princess
Princess
Violet.
Violet. Yeah, her and Thomas,
Yeah.
him and Thomas both.
So, you do have the money. However, you are a dwarf.
I am a
Haggle.
dwarf.
Haggle.
And you are doing business with the Takeout at this point.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Haggle.
Yeah.
Takeout.
And Arthur's beer money.
Wow. Wow. What a best friend.
Oh, gosh. Oh, man, I may have already given away my position, saying it's the finest I've ever seen.
You did.
That was poor maneuvering.
You've got, if you do not have Mercantile, you can always use Bluff to try to get out of it. But Mercantile is a skill, it's listed on there, and you could use that from past knowledges of how to maneuver yourself out of this situation.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to think of a way, and as a player, I'm coming up brain dead.
Okay.
I am the worst at haggling.
So, think about it like this. Even if it was the finest, you know for sure that they are always going to overprice everything. It's expected.
Right.
Because people who aren't haggling, especially just rich people who come as tourists to Spindlehaven to, slum it for a little while, they don't haggle when it's like, you go and they're like, oh, that's cheap, here you go, have this. Because there is a big market for tourism.
Yeah. They come with their own personal guards and stuff.
Okay, I've got it. Upon hearing the price, I will look utterly shocked. And then also sad. I'm sorry to say, I am simply a humble sailor. And a gold is more than a year's salary for me.
Oh, that is unfortunate.
Perhaps you might have a working man's discount?
Cringe. Discount.
I know that it must be difficult to come across suitable customers, seeing how this is only good for dwarves.
You make a fair point, sir. This has been a slow month for me. Tell you what, I will do you a favor. Discount just gives it the wrong feel.
It doesn't translate right.
I will offer this full dreams to you for 6 silver. I cannot go any lower. And she steps up and puts her hands on like her hips with the vial in her hand. hidden from view now. Just in case you try to swipe it.
Swipe or no swiping?
Okay. Calculations. I know that I'm coming into a substantial bonus, hopefully still, from the ambergris coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Do it, man.
A dram will last you a while, so I mean, it's not like you're not gonna. It's not gonna be one day and woo, that was great. That's one day's. Not unless you're like a hardcore individual.
Yeah, it'll last me a while if I read the direction.
Yeah.
If you read the directions, yeah.
Yeah,
Just like
don't
that
don't
white medical
do it like
tea.
a white tea. Yeah,
Don't do it all at one
Yeah,
time.
because you will die.
it's like skooma. Like you take too much, your stomach will bleed.
What?
In Skyrim, skooma is the drug.
Oh, yeah, okay.
If you like take like I think 3 or 4, your character actually dies because your stomach bleeds.
So I will reach into my coat slowly
Okay.
and into my money pouch that I have hidden.
Mm-hmm.
Feel out 6 silver coins
Okay.
and exchange them for the vial.
The Tekiao will take the coins into her hand with her long, like, fingertips. Her talon nails kind of scrape gently against your palm as she scoops them up and checks them out. Just you can see that she does like this little waving motion, so she can see the glint in the in the light. And then she closes her fist and sticks it into her pocket, and then holds out her hands with the vial of snake oil.
Make sure that's the actual vial she was offering.
Yeah, I will carefully look at it again.
You've got
as I...
sense motive, so you can make another awareness.
Oh
check.
yeah, I do have sense
Yeah, because
motive.
she put her hands on her hips, and that
Yep.
could
Yeah, she
slide
could
of
total
hand.
pickpocket it and put it away.
Never trust a lady's hips.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that's a quote for tonight.
I'm a sense motive that. Let's see. 10, 11, 12, 13. I beat it by 1.
Nice.
You see that there are no pockets around her hip area. She keeps everything in bags on her back.
And
She
it still
has
has
this.
his-
Yeah.
It still has this thumb smudge on the outside of it.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. I will smile widely as I tuck it into one of my inside coat pockets.
Mhm.
It was a pleasure doing business with you.
Of course. Come back anytime.
Just imagine the next
And
scene.
send
Kodrog
your
shrugging
friends.
everyone.
Perhaps right back to your iron home when they visit Spindlehaven next. Think of me.
So, just a quick note. Many iron homes that drift near here don't usually stick around. Spindlehaven's filled with bad stuff. Dwarves have, like, a particular, like, noble, honor-filled kind of mentality they wanted, so they try to avoid more devious places like this.
Yeah, they don't make contracts with the ancient order of the whichever
Chestnut cover.
coffer.
Yeah.
They had a bad experience. The contract didn't work out well. It's been passed around the whole community.
Oh, right.
And plus, like, the building codes, like, dwarves are very particular about how they add mass to their home. If
Yep.
you don't have codes, you shouldn't be building.
You get shit like this.
Yeah.
All right, so you are now heading off with your current purchase to find
To find the filthy hammer and Jonah Sparks.
Yeah.
However, we are at 8 o'clock. And that means that we will call it for this evening. So, thank you everyone for joining us
Heck
tonight.
yeah.
We will be back in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yes,
Check
this
our
is going to
calendar.
be our new schedule from now on, every other week, at least for the next few months until it interferes with my soap convention schedule again, and then we'll probably flip it back. But so far, for the foreseeable future, this is where we're going to be. Mm-hmm. Speaking of, everybody, let's do some pluggy stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
My name's Cassie, and besides from doing awesome storytelling and fun stuff, I make soap, and I make a lot of cool soap. And
Yeah, she
if
does.
you play role-playing games, especially Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder or fantasy-inspired
5th edition, 4th edition.
role-playing games, you can create your character using themed soaps from right here. Check it out. It's really great. Favorite the shop. It's exciting, especially if all of your full party buys some soaps from me. Your GM gets theirs for free because you have to make sure to take care of your GMs because they work real hard.
They could also kill you.
Also that.
So bribe them.
Max?
So you know.
Join our Discord, hang out with me, talk about game stuff. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm working on the system. You guys had a chance to see some of it. Friday Night Frights, Shattered Isles. These are the two I'm working on. These are the storylines. Come hang out, chit chat, see what's up. Make suggestions. If you've seen something, you're like, hey, take this look. If you look at the character sheet and go, wait a minute, you got knowledge philosophy there, but it's not written into the actual 20-something pages you've pumped out. Let me know. I'll fix it. Come out, hang out with me. I generally, when you see that my Discord says that I'm playing game design, that means I'm actually writing something. Start chatting me up.
Yeah, we definitely love and really would appreciate your feedback, especially if using the sheet to create your character, using the information that we've written up so far, especially if there are stumbling blocks or if you don't understand something. We want to make sure that we know that so we can improve it and make it a very seamless experience for you guys. And everyone who helps just is going to make the final product so much better. And
Yep.
so we really appreciate it.
And this will be a rather universal system as it gets figured out and we move forward. With that said, I'm working on one called Friday Night Frights. And at some point when I get closer to a finished product, I'm going to subject Paige to a torturous game of horror. I keep saying another date. I'm going to stop because at this point I've put it off a number of times. But at some point I will be running a game that is supposed to be scary. Gosh, I hope it's going to be scary.
It will be scary. I know we've
I'm
been really
excited.
doing some cool shit.
Yep.
I'm
So-
excited for it.
Yeah, so wear your brown pants.
Wear your brown pants.
Will do.
Oh, there was something I wanted to mention. We went to a convention recently. Cassie had a wonderful time. A young lady was there and mentioned that her shelves looked really cool. If she's watching, I want to let you know that you had mentioned getting help with your shelves. I told you I
Display
could
shelves.
display shelves
For
I apo-
miniatures.
For miniatures.
He does that.
I wanted to let you know that if you want help building those shelves, I can either help set it up and build them for you, or I can teach you how I did those. I'm not looking to make money off shelves. I'm looking to help people be good carpenters. I also know two other carpenters. Jon, he's a carpenter, as well as my friend Jeff, who hangs out with us every once in a while. He's a great carpenter too. So if you're watching tonight, I'm still interested in helping you build your mini display shelves. So reach out to us on Original Box Set.
Indeed. John!
Yes! So now that I have adjusted reasonably to the daylight shift and also gotten over the cold that I've been suffering from, I will be continuing my casual Let's Play of Sid Meier's Civilization 6 as the Maori, hopefully picking up on Wednesday, but definitely on Friday. So you can find me, let me make sure I'm in the right window, here at Original Box Set's Twitch channel. So come join me there and help me decide who will fight next in defense of the Earth's climate.
Excellent. And before we get to Paige, since he already put the link in the chat, tomorrow is going to be the season finale / cliffhanger of Iron Kingdoms.
Oh, yeah.
So they had, I'm really excited to be kind of giving a nice little wrap up and a nice little cliffhanger for us to leap off of when we get to Iron Kingdoms again, a few months down the road. So if you have the time, please stop by. We appreciate it. It's going to be starting at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And after that, we're actually going to be going to Shadowrun.
I'll be picking back up
Nice.
my Shadowrun game, and it'll be fun. It's a simple game. Everybody has fun. It's I like to do more of a black trench coat kind style game.
Black trench coat, low karma kind of game.
Oh yeah, I make them suffer. Street level kind
Wow.
of scenario. I've heard that after a year of playing, most people have like hundreds of karma. I'm like, they just reached the double digits. And I'll be picking back up. We got a couple of milk runs planned, so we'll see how that works out for them.
Excellent. And Paige, last but definitely not least.
Hello, that's me. My plugs are probably the longest, so here we go.
You saved the best for last.
I wouldn't call myself the best. Hi, I'm Paige Jones. I'm an artist. I do things. Yeah, I draw things.
You
I
do
make
draw
stuff.
things.
I've been, you could buy it.
You
You can buy my artwork here, and you can contact me on Discord, the Ram Queen, and then there's my number. That sounds very, here's my number. Anyway,
Call me
if
sometime.
you like...
Call me sometime
Yeah.
when you want me to draw you like your French
Exactly.
girls.
Exactly. Thank you, Cassie.
You're
That's
welcome.
genius. But yes, if you follow me on Instagram, mainly because I'm too lazy to copy my own artwork onto my computer and post it up on like DeviantArt and ArtStation because it's a fucking long trek to do so. You can follow me on Instagram and see all my gorgeous artwork there. You can even look back at all my Inktober stuff and go, you know what? That pumpkin girl, want her, and I will give her to you for a price because I need to live. Other than that,
You're like my favorite plug person because it's just so awesome. Like,
thank you.
it's the best.
Other than all my artwork that you can totally buy and that is totally amazing and totally wicked, I am on 27th this month to do Night Witches.
Ooh, I'll be there too.
Yeah, Cassie's gonna be there. We are, if you don't know, Night Witches are Russian female pilots that bomb Germans. So we
Yeah.
are gonna do that.
They were
and it's
freaking
awesome.
badass ladies killing some Nazis.
Yeah.
They were Russian.
We were
Yes.
Russian. So
The Night
come join
Witches.
us for Night Witches. We will be able to make sure that you will have a great time. And I am so excited because I get to play the leader and I will be able to tell everyone else what to do. It's going to be fantastic.
And then you can, join so you can watch my character go, I'm gonna do a 360 in my helicopter. 'Cause that's what I'm gonna do.
Awesome.
Other than that, there's Join the Anarchy, which is on April 1st. And that's not a prank. Even though it's on April Fool's Day, we are actually going to be in Ares headquarters. And I will still be playing Voltar, the completely cybernetic Ares soldier.
Yes.
So join us then, which that starts at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and goes till midnight.
Woo!
And I think Night Witches also starts at 8.
I think it
or
starts
9.
at. I think it
It's
starts
9
at 9.
PM?
Yeah, 9
I have-
Eastern.
I have
Mhm.
8. I have 8 on my planner, so that's probably just for me to show up and be ready. But
Probably.
yes, both are 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So join us, and I think that's all my plugs, other than
Excellent.
down the road for Once Upon a Tabletop, but that's later in the future.
Yes.
Yes.
So, everyone, thank you so much for spending time with us tonight and enjoying the Shattered Isles. Please, please, please join us on our Discord channel. Help us create this awesome rule set system because once we have it down, it's going to be published and everybody who helps us is going to be getting some credits in our final product. So, join us, help us make it awesome, and we want to make sure that you guys are rewarded too. So, with that said, we will see you in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And it's going to be great. And until then,
That's it.
that's
Great.
it.
Good night, everybody.
Farewell!
Bye.